Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be going over 5 wide receivers that you must draft in 2024 fantasy football. So this video is coming out early in May, right? It's May 1st today, so what I will tell you is that things are going to change from May, June, July, August, when you're actually doing your fantasy football draft, or maybe even in early September. Some of these players might get hurt, knock on wood. A player could get traded. Things could happen around them. Their quarterback could get hurt. And maybe even their ADP changes, right? There might be a guy here that I love going late in the draft, and then his ADP starts skyrocketing, and then I'm a lot more off of them. So take things with a grain of salt in the early fantasy football content stage of things. Before we get on into things, though, I would like to ask that if you guys are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying it, please make sure that you smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. Make sure you guys hit that like button whether you are new to the channel or not. So without further ado, let's get into my 5 wide receivers that you must draft 2024 fantasy football. We begin with my first must-draft wide receiver of today's video, and that is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Detroit Lions, current underdog ADP wide receiver 5 at pick 7.3. Now, when it comes to the wide receiver position in fantasy football this season for 2024, to me, I think there's a big 3 at wide receiver. That is going to be Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson. You can put them in any order, but I think by the time you actually do your fantasy draft in late August or early September, those are going to be the unanimous top 3 wide receivers going in drafts. After that is where things start to really open up, and there's a lot of names inside of that second tier, that second bunch of wide receivers going in the first round, but I believe Amon-Ra St. Brown belongs amongst the top of that list. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. He is on a team, the Detroit Lions, with Dan Campbell as the head coach, that wants to score a bunch of points. They want to run the score up. They're going to go for it on 4th and 37. They are going to do whatever it takes to bite the metaphorical kneecaps off of their opponent. And Amon-Ra St. Brown just got paid the big bucks to dominate 50 Shades of Grey style yet again in 2024, and I think he is going to do exactly that, and I think Amon-Ra St. Brown has the upside to, not only is he one of the safest wide receivers you can pick in fantasy football this year, he also has the upside to finish as the #1 wide receiver. Last year was the wide receiver 4 in PPR and the wide receiver 3 in PPR points per game, playing in 16 games last season. He had 164 targets, 5th at wide receiver, 10.3 per game, 119 receptions, 2nd at wide receiver, 7.4 per game, 1,515 receiving yards, 3rd at wide receiver, almost 100 per game, 94.7 receiving yards per game, and 10 total touchdowns, 5th at wide receiver. While everyone and their mother loves to sing the praises from the top of the mountain like the Ricola guy, Ricola, right? People love to make fun of Jared Goff. They love to throw stones at the glass house, but ultimately, guess what? You could say whatever you want about Jared Goff, but when the Goffinator Jared Goff steps back and throws the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown, it is incredibly accurate. 7.5 target accuracy for Amon-Ra St. Brown, ranking top 10 at 8th at wide receiver, 2.7 yards per route run, 7th, 95.2% true catch rate, 12th, and a 64% contested catch percentage, 5th at wide receiver. Amon-Ra St. Brown got paid the big bucks. They whipped out the Brinks truck and backed it up in front of his house and dumped all the money in it so he can jump and swim around in it like it's a fucking ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese. They paid him that money for the reason. They have Sam Laporta. They have Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery. They have all these other players, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is the guy in Detroit, and I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to replicate yet another top 5 season at the wide receiver position with the upside, as I already stated, of being the #1 wide receiver in fantasy football this year. At number 2, we got Wiki DJ Moore of the Chicago Bears, underdog ADP wide receiver 16 at pick 25. Now, I know there are going to be some people that heard me say DJ Moore and they click off the video, right? They think, Nick, that's fucking crazy to have DJ Moore ranked that high or to like DJ Moore that much. Nick, that's crazy. Wide receiver 16? Don't you know they have Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze there, Nick? Don't you know that? Yes, I do know that. And guess what? DJ Moore absolutely wiped the floor with the NFL defenses last year, with Justin Fields playing pretty bad and with Tyson Bagent playing quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Wide receiver 6 in PPR, wide receiver 9 in PPR points per game. Sure, there's going to be added competition, and maybe the added competition makes it so that DJ Moore's consistency is not as high as we were used to, maybe what could have been last season if the Bears had a much more competent quarterback like Caleb Williams. But at the end of the day, even with them having 3 great wide receivers, I still think DJ Moore is the wide receiver 1, and I think Caleb Williams has the upside to take DJ Moore from the wide receiver 16 off the board right now to being a clear top 10 wide receiver this fantasy season. 17 games played last year, 136 targets, 14th at wide receiver, 8 per game. 96 receptions, you flip that around, you get 69. Very nice, I like. Shut up, Borat. 5.6 per game, 12th. 1,364 receiving yards, 80.2 per game. Number 6, 9 total touchdowns, 10th. All of those great stats, all inside the top 14 with Tyson Bagent and Justin Fields. Again, I am not going to be the guy that is banging the drum aggressively, telling you guys that Caleb Williams, I do think he's a great prospect, right? But I'm not going to sit here and say that year 1 he's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Year 1 he's going to be Aaron Rodgers, the Packers version, right? Year 1 he's Peyton Manning. Year 1 this, he's that, right? I'm not going to say that. But what I'm going to tell you is that DJ Moore with Caleb Williams will have his best situation ever. He is going to succeed. I get they have Keenan Allen. I get they have a Diontae, but I think DJ Moore is the wide receiver 1, and I think that he is going to unleash hell on the NFL this season. 6.9 target accuracy, 35th. You would have thought it would have been worse, but DJ Moore is just that good that he just makes the quarterback throw the ball better to him. 8th in terms of contested catch rate and 4th in dominator rating. I think a lot of people are going to talk down on DJ Moore. A lot of people are going to be nervous to draft DJ Moore because the other wide receiver is there. And I think that might even lower his ADP. More casual leagues, right? People are going to be scared. They're going to be petrified to draft DJ Moore. When in reality, you need to hop on that pause. Number 3, we got Jayden Reed of the Green Bay Packers. If you guys have enjoyed thus far and you are new, make sure you smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. And whether you are new to the channel or not, make sure to leave a like on today's video. It helps me out a ton. So Jayden Reed of the Green Bay Packers, underdog ADP wide receiver 34 at pick 59.1. Jayden Reed was a guy that entering fantasy drafts last season, I was definitely not the highest on Jayden Reed. I was someone that was really just drinking the metaphorical Kool-Aid on Christian Watson, and then Christian Watson was basically hurt all season, and Jayden Reed becomes the guy. Jordan Love goes out there and is downright fucking amazing for most of the season. Now, there was some trials and tribulations, but overall, Jordan Love was chef's kiss magnifique. And Jayden Reed appears to be his wide receiver 1. Now, could Christian Watson come back, back from the dead like The Undertaker and have a great season? Of course. But I think at wide receiver 34, based upon where he's going, I'm willing to take that shot. Probably the wide receiver 3 on my team. I am ecstatic to get Jayden Reed on my teams because of what I saw last season. Wide receiver 25 in PPR, 26 in points per game, 16 games played, but only 13 starts because even while Christian Watson was hurt, it did take some time for us to see a lot of Jayden Reed. 94 targets, 5.9 per game, 40th, 64 receptions, 4 per game, 35th, 793 receiving yards, 49.6 per game, number 35, and 10 total touchdowns, 5th. Now, do I think that Jayden Reed is guaranteed to get 10 total touchdowns? Again, of course not, because the touchdown number at the wide receiver position is very finicky. It is bipolar in a way. It goes up, it goes down, it's in, and it's out. There are only a couple of guys that are going to score a lot of touchdowns, or some guys that aren't going to score a lot of touchdowns, right? Julio Jones back in the day, even when this guy was on top of the world. Cream of the crop, right? couldn't score a lot of touchdowns. He was allergic to the end zone. Jayden Reed, do I think he's going to score 10 total touchdowns again? Probably not. But he definitely could because we've already seen him do it before. In terms of efficiency, he was 5th in fantasy points per target, 8th in fantasy points per route run, and 5th in fantasy points per target. So when you get the ball into the hands of Jayden Reed, he is going to do great things with them. Again, I really believe in Jordan Love. I don't think that what we witnessed last season was some sort of fluke. I think that Jordan Love Me Tender, Love Me Sweet is legit. And I think that Jayden Reed is his #1 wide receiver. Makes me very, very excited to draft him in 2024. At number 4, we got Diontae Johnson, my guy, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, now a Carolina Panther, underdog ADP wide receiver 41 at pick 76.1. Now, if you were on Diontae Johnson last season, you got bent over a table. You got dragged by Diontae Johnson, wide receiver 44 in PPR, 41 in PPR points per game. Now, I was someone that was all aboard the Diontae Johnson Express, and like I said, we got fucked if we drafted Diontae Johnson, wide receiver 44 in PPR, 41 in PPR points per game. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it was all Diontae Johnson's fault. The quarterback situation in Pittsburgh was about as putrid as it gets. You could smell it, the stench, right through the screen. It was atrocious. 13 games played with 11 starts, 87 targets, 6.7 per game, number 45, 51 receptions, 3.9 per game, number 48, 717 receiving yards, 44th, and then 5 total touchdowns, 29th. He was dealing with a 6.4 target accuracy, 77th, but he was dominant in the Steelers offense, even with George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, these other guys, 3rd, and his drops weren't as bad as normal, only 3 drops last season. This is something that is very important to note in fantasy football. If you're a newer player, what a lot of people will do is they'll look at last season, they'll say, Nick, Diontae Johnson wasn't great in Pittsburgh. How is he going to do it now in Carolina with Bryce Young, who was just pretty bad last season, right? A lot of people love to bury Bryce Young, right? We love to lift up CJ Stroud, and rightfully so. But when you lift up CJ Stroud, you start to say how the Carolina Panthers are a bunch of dumb bastards for drafting Bryce Young. Look, I get CJ Stroud might be better than Bryce Young. Right now, it very much looks like that, right? But if you're going to write Bryce Young off, the #1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft because of one down season on Carolina with some certified bums playing wide receiver, these Walmart CFL players, it's just not what I'm going to do. I believe that even though they drafted Xavier Legette, even though they have Adam Thielen, that Diontae Johnson is going to be that safety net for Bryce Young. I think Diontae Johnson has the upside to be top 12 in terms of targets in the NFL. I could easily see him doing that. And if he does do that at wide receiver 41, you are laughing, laughing straight to the bank. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I think the Carolina Panthers are going to go from being awful to winning 12 games this season, keep pounding, right? They're going to just go back to the Cam Newton days, right, when they made it to the Super Bowl against Denver and then didn't win that game because Cam Newton was too much of a pussy to jump on the ball. But it is what it is. I think that, they might not be good. They might win 3 games, right? I still think that that's a team that's going to have to throw a lot. And I think Diontae Johnson is going to be sucking in those targets like his name was Kirby. To close out the wide receivers you must draft early edition, we got the lad McConkey of the LA Chargers, underdog ADP wide receiver 46 at pick 98.8. I think lad McConkey is going to skyrocket, to scream up draft boards as we get to late August, early September when you guys are doing your drafts. I think we are going to see, like, maybe even earlier than that, we're going to see a picture, or not a picture, we're going to see a moving picture, a video of lad McConkey catch the ball in shorts from Justin Herbert, the pervert, and people are going to blow their load in their pants. People are going to be ecstatic for him, and I'm already ecstatic, right? And I haven't even seen those clips. So, lad was drafted in the 2nd round of the 2024 NFL Draft at pick 34 by you guessed it, the Chargers. Now, he only played in 9 games last season due to some injuries. And in those 9 games, if you just look at the stats, right, if you're just someone that looks at stats, you're going to be disappointed. You'll be like, Nick, why do you like lad McConkey so much? 30 receptions, less than 500 yards, 478 yards. Well, he did have 15.9 yards per reception, but he only had 2 touchdowns at 21 years old. That's not very good, right? You look back to 2022, you throw it back 15 games, 58 receptions on 76 targets for 726 yards, 13.1 yards per reception, and 7 receiving touchdowns. But again, college stats, little fugazi, awazi, woozy, you don't know what to think. Throw the tape on, throw the highlights on, real quick. Guy ran a 4.39 40-yard dash. Usain Bolt, right? He's fast, shake and bake. He has the ability, in my opinion, to lead the Chargers in terms of targets in year 1 as a Charger. This is a team that has guys alike Joshua Palmer and Quentin Johnston, and neither of those guys even remotely move the needle. Neither of those guys, you're thinking of Ladd McConkey competing with those guys, and you start to panic, right? This is a team that doesn't have Gerald Everett anymore. This is a team that does not have Austin Eckler anymore. This is a team that needs someone to throw the ball to. Now, Ladd McConkey isn't built like Calvin Johnson Megatron. He's not built like Julio Jones. But what he is a guy that can play both inside and outside. This is a guy that is a deep down the field threat. This dude makes cuts like O.J. Simpson, both on and off the field. R.I.P. O.J. Simpson. And has great yak ability. I am incredibly ecstatic. I am elated. I am enamored with what we could see out of Ladd McConkey as the Chargers wide receiver. Now, there's a chance that Joshua Palmer is the number 1 guy. There's a chance that Quentin Johnston just fucking around last year, just playing around, and Quentin Johnston comes out there and he's balling out of control, right? Jordan flu game, right? Maybe. So I won't completely write those guys off. I don't write anyone off. Shout out Geno Smith. But I think, looking at things right now, early May, I think that Ladd McConkey would be my favorite to lead this team in targets at the wide receiver position. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Let me know down below in the comment section who are some wide receivers you're looking at right now that you feel like come August, these are guys that you're going to really want to hammer in on and draft in a lot of your leagues. Now, I still think, while I love all these guys, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, DJ Moore, Jayden Reed, Diontae Johnson, Ladd McConkey, while I basically said that Amon-Ra St. Brown is almost bust-proof in a way, right? Got the chastity belt on. I don't for sure, I wouldn't for sure, if I was in 10 leagues, draft Amon-Ra St. Brown in 10 leagues, because if he gets hurt, then you're basically screwed the pooch in all the leagues, right? I try to diversify the revenue, as they say, right? Try and take some different picks, but these are really all guys that I would heavily target right now in fantasy football drafts. So let me know if you've got any names down below in the comments. Let me know if you agree with these names. Let me know if you disagree, right? I think, personally, there's going to be people that click off at the name DJ Moore. There's going to be a lot of people that don't want anything to do with DJ Moore. They don't like Caleb Williams. They hate the situation, but I love the situation. Shout out to Mike's. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I love you guys so much from deep down the bottom of my heart. We've been banging out these videos. I've been having a really fun time doing it. I hope you guys have had a fun time watching. I love you guys, like I said, from deep down the bottom of my heart. Check out some of the videos that are on your screen right now if you haven't seen them already. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. I love you guys. We'll see you shortly with another one. And as always, good boy.